What's up, everybody? Pastor A. Nathan Young here, and I'm here with my good friend and longtime attorney who's now the Chief Public Defender for Washington and St. Tammany parishes. And just to tell you a little bit about him, he was in private practice from 1998 to 2012, specializing in criminal defense in St. Tammany and Washington parishes. From 2009 to 2012, he actually was on the Capital Defense Project, where he represented people who were facing capital murder. And then from 86 to 98, he worked in corporate law, and he got all of his education from LSU. Go Tigers, right?
Right.
Although
I just couldn't afford Tulane or Loyola, you know.
Yeah, you're right. But he is my good friend, man. And I will say this about John Lindner. John Lindner is one criminal defense attorney who I know for a fact fights for his clients. And he's a good man. Just been a pleasure to know you. Bro.
I really appreciate that, Pastor. I really do.
Yeah, man. And so I'm going to ask you this crazy question, man. The question, forget about everything else we're talking about. The question that everybody wants to know, with all of your legal experience, in your professional opinion, did Carol Baskin kill her husband, John Lindner?
You know, you're a preacher, but I preach too. And one of the things I preach is that everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And until she goes to trial, I'm not going to make a comment on it.
Yeah, you're right. Good answer, man. Good answer. No, but you wanted to come and just kind of give people an update. What's going on, man, with the public defender's office? Are we having court right now? What can people expect going back? And talk to us, man. What's going on with you, bro?
Well, I appreciate the time. I wanted to reach out to everybody. I know, like I said, when this started, we had about 1,200 people in the parish jail, and another 800 in Washington Parish. In St. Tammany Parish, we got that down to 800. So we got 400 people out. In Washington Parish, they had another 400 out. Right now, there's about 280 people who we represent who are in jail awaiting trial. So we're still working to get them out. We get phone calls every day from relatives. If anybody has a subpoena to show up for traffic court, misdemeanor court, or felony court between going forward, show up. The judges are saying right now that but there'll be no in-person court until June 1st.
So how are they doing that right now?
It's going to be basically when you show up at the courthouse. If you don't have court that day, they're going to reserve you for another date, and they're going to give you a time to show up. So it may be 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. We can only put 14 people at a time in a courtroom.
Gotcha.
So the idea is you put 14 people in, you do our business with them, they leave, the parish has supplied cleaning crews, they're going to come in, sanitize everything, we bring in the next 14. But the problem is we're not going to have any jury trials until at least September. So the next 3 months, three and a half months is just going to be cleanup, trying to get, take care of all the backlog.
Wow.
But it's very important. If you have a subpoena, you have a summons, show up, because I don't want you to get an attachment. You're driving down the street, you don't have a headlight, and you end up in jail for 5 or 6 days.
Man, and that's important because a lot of people might assume that because of everything that's going on with COVID-19 and Corona, that I don't have to go to court. Nothing's open. Courthouse is not open. And so, and next thing you know, you got an attachment and you're in jail.
Right. And, the thing about getting an attachment is that you cannot get out until the judge says you can get out. And that's going to take at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 days. And you don't want to be stuck in that parish prison, especially with the COVID-19.
Right.
We don't know what's going on in that jail.
You're
They
right.
said they had 9 people that tested positive. They shipped them out, but we don't know what's going on now. I made a proposal yesterday at a meeting that everybody that's being held pre-trial in the jail should be tested before they're allowed to come in court. We'll see how far that goes, but I'll keep advocating for it because I think it's important.
Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. What else can you tell us, man, just about what's going on with public defenders and things that people need to do as far as all of that good stuff?
I know it has been a problem getting in touch with our attorneys. I'm going to, I can only imagine having a relative sitting in jail right now. And whether it's one of my kids or a spouse or relative, because there's so much uncertainty. If you need to talk to an attorney, call the office. It's 985-892-5002. If you can't get anything on that, I'm going to give you another, and past Nate, I'm going to ask, somebody will write this down and leave it at the church. But my direct line at the office is 985-590-5050. If you call that, voicemail will come on, leave a voice message. It goes right to my email and to my personal phone. And if I don't get back in touch with you, I'll have somebody in touch with you within 24 hours.
Gotcha.
Our people are working. Our main focus has been to get as many people out of the jail as possible. We're doing pleas by Zoom. We're doing, bail reductions, and we keep fighting for them. And we're just trying to get as many people out as we can right now.
Gotcha. So everything related to the court system is being handled by Zoom right now?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Now, I will say this, and I got to give credit where credit's due. The judges, the public defenders, the district attorney's office, and the judicial administrators have been working. We meet 3 times a week, getting ready for this and making sure that all the safety measures that are in place that need to be in place. My clients know me. I'm a big hands-on people person. And, that's one of my big things. I try to treat you like a person and not some other person. But don't expect me or my public defenders to be handling you or putting my hand on your shoulder or anything like that. I was in a Pace yesterday, and a mama came up to me and said, "Oh, Mr. John, let me hug you." I went, "Oh no, you're not hugging me today."
Hug me next year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I want to ask you something, man. Real hot button topic right now. And I want to ask you, because you are a legal professional, the story about the jogger over in Georgia, not let me say this. When I saw the video, like everybody else, it disturbed me deeply, man. It was like a punch in the gut. And even today, my daughter called me. She's a millennial, and so she's
right.
They get active with stuff like this and really go for it. They're into social activism, which is a good thing. A couple of days later, the video came out of him going into the house that was under construction and that sort of thing. I just have a hard time trying to figure out why 2 months went by before an arrest was made. I have a hard time trying to figure out, just why it went the way it went. If there's any legal basis for why it would have gone the way it's gone, it's gone. And, from your professional opinion and viewpoint, provide some rationale around it, man, and just Tell us what you saw, what you see, and where you think this whole thing might be going.
Pastor Nate, I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched the video. And I usually stay away from doing that. And I was very serious when I said before, I'm going to give everybody the presumption of innocence. All right. I'm not going to say that these two men should be put away right now for the rest of their lives. I'm not going to say that because I haven't seen the evidence. Right. What I will say is this. I'm going to use what I put on Facebook. All right. Yeah. I live on West 23rd Avenue in Covington. I walk every morning anywhere from 3 to 4 miles around the neighborhood. And one morning, if I'm walking through the West 30s and an African-American father and son stop me and accuse me of casing a house and they shoot me, I guarantee you they're going to be in jail that afternoon. Now, what happened in this situation, the police always have discretion. I've heard, the dad was a former investigator with the DA's office. Do I think it was politics? Yes. And I'm going to be blunt. Do I think it's racism? Absolutely. These people, there was no reason. You have an unarmed man and he's dead. And they're saying something about, I want to make an arrest. You don't make no citizen's arrest. Right. That doesn't happen. Right. And, I just hope, I know the federal government's stepping in and they may want to take it over. They have to look at it. They have to look at it if it happened. And, by God, if these people did murder this man, then they need to be punished like anybody else. It seems that, me, I'm a big advocate of criminal reform, but we're not going to get criminal justice reform until we change this whole culture that we have. It's become very easy to put poor people, whether they're people of color or they're poor whites, it's very easy to put them in jail. One of the biggest jobs that my public defenders and I have is to humanize these people and show the juries that they're human beings. And just because you may have stolen something, it's not that you're a bad person. You may have hungry kids at home. Right, man. And, I think that's the problem. I have been a beneficiary of white privilege, not only white privilege, white male privilege, which is even stronger. And, as my daughter told me one time, I got in a little trouble before law school, and I was telling her about it one day, and she said, it must be nice to live in a time of second chances. And I said, it was. It was very nice. But, a lot of your parishioners don't have that second chance. Right. And, my clients don't always get that second chance. And that's what we're trying to fight for. But do I think what happened up there was wrong? Absolutely. Yeah. They need to. It doesn't take a whole lot of evidence to arrest somebody. And anybody who spent the night in jail knows that. All right.
I'll just say I know it. Yeah. I won't say. Yeah, man. Yeah.
When we're not live, I'll tell you a story one day.
All right. We'll trade stories.
Sounds good.
Yeah, man. But and that's kind of what I took away from it. The arrest should have at least been made. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just based on what I saw, and I don't know everything, but even just from what I've heard and saw, okay, you have a young man who's possibly, let's say worst case scenario, he had burglarized someone. Right. He's unarmed, and he's running through the neighborhood. To me, you call 911 and let the police do their job. Right. And when from just looking at it from his perspective, he's running through the neighborhood, and you have two white guys on a pickup truck with a shotgun and a pistol, and they cut you, swerve in front of you, and they're in front of you, and one of them jumps out and says, "Hey, I want to talk to you," with a shotgun in his hand. It's fight or flight, bro. It's
You
fight or
know,
flight, you know?
and there's a crime for that. You get out with a gun, that's called aggravated assault with a firearm.
Well, and that's kind of
You
what I
know,
felt like too, man. The first thing is, so you were trying to hold this guy against his will, uh,
hmm
and you have a firearm. What's the guy gonna do? He's either gonna run or he's gonna try to take that shotgun from you. Because in my mind, at that point, man, uh, for him, it must have been like, and I'm assuming, okay, but for him, it must have been like, I got to get out of this situation.
yeah.
These guys are trying to kill me, trying to do me harm. I don't know them. All I know is they pull up in this truck and got guns, man. And so,
You know, I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine how one would feel if you're jogging on the street and all of a sudden these two guys jump out of a truck with guns and grab you and they want to talk to you. I
right.
mean, and they don't look like you. And, they're sitting there and they're going, and you're thinking, you're right, they're going to kill me.
Yeah, man.
And I know it's silly, but there was a thing on FaceTime today where this white guy took off his shirt and put on a baseball hat backwards and took his TV and started jogging down the street. And he
Yeah.
said, nobody's bothering me,
Yeah.
and it's, the fear. And I'll be honest, I can't even imagine it. And I think a lot of my clients, how they may feel if they're riding down the street and, they get stopped by the police and the police say, and they say, well, why you stop me? Oh, your light bulb above your license plate is burned out.
Right.
What's in the car?
Right.
What do you feel at that point?
I've
I
been
mean,
there.
I'd be scared to death.
I've been there, man. I went to drop a kid off in the West 30s from youth group. This was years ago. And same thing. They pulled me over and they happened to pull me over right in front of the church. And they said, oh, you didn't use your turn signal back there. You got anything illegal in the car? Never asked for my driver's license, never asked for insurance, just straight to that. I never walked away with a ticket for not using my turn signal. They searched the car, and I mean, just that kind of thing. So I've been there, done that, man. And so it's definitely a scary situation, man. It definitely is. And so we'll see how it turns out, man.
Well, I can tell you this, Pastor, and I'm going to tell you, the people that go to Faith Bible and you go out and you talk to everybody else, we have elections this fall. We're going to have three judgeships open. I've been here since 1998. I have never seen this many open judgeships in my life. We have people running for DA, a new district attorney coming in. And it's very important that we get out and we vote. You make the decision who's going to take care of us and who's committed to reform, and we work with those people. And in fact, that's another thing I wanted to come talk to you about, because I can tell anybody out there who has a felony conviction on their record, who has not been able to vote for a while, if I can get your names, I can give that to probation and parole. And if you may be eligible to vote now, and I can get you a certificate, and we can all go down to the registrars of voters and we can get you registered and we can vote in the fall.
Is there, I'm glad you brought that. Is there a certain time period that you have to wait?
Yes.
Okay. What is that? What is that?
No. Once I get that certificate, okay, if I have, if John Lindner, I give my name, John Lindner, to the Department of Corrections, and they come back and say, yep, you got a felony conviction. And I don't know all the details. It's something about if you haven't been on paper or probation or parole for 5 years, you're now eligible to vote. Then we can go, the day we get that certificate, I can bring you over to the registrars of voters and we can get you registered. So if you want to do it when this cleans up, one Wednesday night, I'll bring the registrar of voters to Faith Bible Church and we'll get some people registered.
Man, I'm about that, John.
No,
Definitely about that. I push the vote all the time, man. And the power of the vote. And I'm always talking to people about how important it is that we exercise that right, man.
Now, that's the only thing we have going for us and that's the control we have. And, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people out there that think like us. We just need to get them mobilized.
You're right.
And get them out there.
You're right.
Hey, I'm a child of the 60s and 70s, dude. I'm still doing this.
Well, you've been fighting a good fight, man. You've helped a lot of people. You've fought for a lot of people. And I just appreciate your honesty, your sincerity, and your hard work, man, to help many of those who find themselves in a situation in where they can't help themselves.
Well, I appreciate it, but I'll tell you this. I also appreciate the work that Faith Bible's done and the other religious leaders in the communities. We got to put these kids on the right path.
You're right.
This idea that a 17-year-old kid's got a gun. Why you need a gun?
Right.
And we got to give them, that moral inside them that they know this is bad and I'm going to walk away from it.
Right.
I was lucky. I had mentors that taught me, here's that line right there. Now don't cross it. You can go real close. Right. And you can put your toe on it, but don't go on the other side. And, I was able to kind of stay out of that.
Well, I had a daddy who smacked me if I got close to the
line. I met your daddy. I know your daddy well. But you know what? It's I'd say this all the time, and I know people get angry about their public defenders, but I can tell you the crew I have right now, these are some good people, and they're fighting hard. And, but I'll reiterate, call my direct number if you have any questions, and I'll get a public defender to you as soon as possible.
Man, John, thanks for your time so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me anytime, and I look forward to one Wednesday night. We'll go over there, and we'll get some people voted.
We're going to do it,
all right,
man. Thanks a lot, brother. Stay safe.
Thank you.
All right.
Anytime, man.
All right.
Take care.
You too.